Yes, guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Stoke match review. And Sunderland have finally got back to winning ways in a game that was very, very close to pushing me over the edge, I swear. And not even in terms of we weren't creating chances or playing poorly. It's because we made a gargantuan, that's a big word, a gargantuan amount of chances, clear-cut chances as well, and we could not put them away. It was absolutely ridiculous. We were missing sitter after sitter, missing chance after chance. Don't get me wrong, Stoke had a handful of a couple of really good chances of their own, but we should have been 4 or 5-1 up, or maybe 5-2 up if Stoke had taken a chance of their own at half-time. And then the second half, it was sort of more of the same, maybe not as sort of clinical, but we had so many chances. And in recent weeks, it had been a case of we weren't testing the keeper enough. We had plenty of possession, but not testing the keeper enough, or we weren't creating. But it was total opposite today. It was such a strange frustration, because in the games against, when we'd had the sort of 5 draws in a row, and against Sheffield United, we dominated, but we weren't creating enough. But again, I'm only repeating myself. In this one, we had it was a sack full of chances, and great chances at that, and we just weren't putting them away. But we've turned the tide in terms of, we've finally got our first one in the board in, last 6. Of course, we drew 5, and then we lost against Sheffield United. So this, for me, was such a key game at home, and, give credit to the lads, to both sets of players in terms of, the conditions they had to play in. Both teams had to play in it. The wind was ridiculous. It was torrential rain. The ball was holding up in the air and stuff like that at times. It's difficult to play against with the judging the ball and the trajectory of the ball, and not even that. It's just if you play sports at all, regardless of whether it be football or not, running against wind and in these kinds of conditions, it really takes its toll on your legs and the body in general. So fair play to the lads, both sides. To keep plodding along and giving us an entertaining game of football, particularly if you're a Sunderland fan anyway. But getting into the game, we start off with the lineup. Of course, Chris Mepham was suspended, so we had back 4 of Alessi, O'Nien and Ballard, and Trey Hume right back. Then we had Job, Chris Rigg, Dan Neil, the usual trio in the middle, with Paddy Roberts on one side, Watson on the left, and Isidore up top. At first, I did think to myself, as I've been screaming for the last handful of games now, I wanted my ender to start on that right-hand side. Roberts, again, is one of those that he's just become a bit predictable. His final product has not been great. But today, I will say, he is most games, right? And I know I slighted him in recent weeks, or at least last time anyway. He is very dangerous, and he is most games. It's his final product that is largely shit, and that's it. It is largely shit when he's on that right-hand side, but he just always looks dangerous. He's always making a nuisance of himself, but nothing comes to fruition largely, and that is my main frustration with Paddy Roberts, as it is for everyone, and everyone, we all rate him, we know how good he can be, but it's just a frustration. But anyway, we stuck with him, and straight from the off, Paddy Roberts down the right-hand side, does his usual, cuts in from right to left, then he tried to put it into the top right-hand corner. It's gone high and wide. We're making other chances, Watson cutting in from left to right. Isidore, we're not really finding him for the opening sort of 20-25 minutes, but I am going to get into that. But we were looking very, very lively. Isidore did actually have a free kick from the edge of the box. I didn't expect him to take it, but he did. He takes it, and he's rifled it. It's one of the bloody hardest shots I've ever seen. He's rifled it sort of down the throat of the keeper, skids off the surface, and Johansson, who's an outstanding goalkeeper, by the way, gets such a strong fist, gets down low really quickly, and a strong fist to get it wide. But it's them who break forward. And I have to say, it's piss poor defending, piss poor. Our line was so high for no reason, and the ball is played pretty direct and at a strange angle for Alessi. The ball is basically just battered. It's a very direct pass, and he's kind of, as the ball's coming at him, he doesn't know whether to sort of face his man who's running in behind him, or sort of face the ball, and he's in two minds, doesn't really know what to do. So he's put himself in an awkward position, but it's gone in behind him, and then in behind on his blind side, Kumas drives inside from right to left. He's bearing down on Patterson. He's hit it straight at him. It's a decent save, but the save goes straight back to Kumas, who dinks it back across goal and over Patterson, who's on the floor after making that first save. And then there's Tom Cannon, who I mentioned in the preview, I said would be a danger, and he does, and he tucks it away pretty much on the goal line to make it 1-0 to Stoke. But just over a minute later, straight up the other end, Joe gets the ball, feeds Watson, he has it on the edge, and he drives it into the near corner, into the bottom left. Johansson's right, and he's rooted to the floor, just watches the ball just trickle into the near corner, so we get an immediate equaliser. And I said in my preview, my prediction to the game was a 1-0 Sunderland win, which of course was wrong. But I did say Tommy Watson to get the goal and to get his first goal, and he went and get a couple, didn't he? But we'll get to his second shortly. But yeah, we kept on going. We were making chance after chance, and my frustration when I said Isidore barely touched the ball in the opening 25 minutes. And it was a mixture of frustration of, for example, when we break on the right-hand side with Paddy Roberts, rather than getting his head up and seeing the run, he's making a sort of in-swinging run on the other side, Isidore. If you just bend it behind the defence, he's going to get there. But he just refused to pass it. Every time he gets the ball, head down, and then just trying to get at the first defender he can see, and he's trying to get. He wants to go one-on-one with someone, wants to stand someone up, go one-on-one with someone, rather than just giving the ball. But we know Paddy Roberts is incredibly one-footed. He's not going to cross the ball. It's pointless. But equally, there were times where Isidore was pointing sort of in behind, and someone like Trey Hume would come in and he'd play the ball. But then, rather than actually doing the run or going for the run that he pointed and said he's going to do, he just stopped. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, mate, as much as I can give shit to our other players for not finding Wilson, he needs to commit to the runs that he's pointing for the pass. Do you know what I mean? And that did happen a couple of times. But then he kind of dragged himself into the play. He was coming deeper a handful of times, and then we were making chances. A couple of times it happened where he would play the sort of direct ball, which I've said in recent weeks I do not mind at all, as long as it's actually aimed for someone. And he did. He's put ball over the top. It's a great ball. Of course, the wind has held it a little bit and helped him out. So he's trying to get it out of the air, Wilson Isidore, and he's one-on-one with the keeper, but he just can't quite get control of it. But when he does, he sort of scuffs the effort, and Johansson makes himself big, and all he has to do really just loft the keeper. It would have been a simple finish, but he was almost falling around. He was almost like a Bambi when he was trying to gain control of the ball. It didn't quite work out for him. But not long later, Alessi on the left-hand side puts an early cross in. Brilliant cross as well for Isidore, about 7 yards out on the volley. You'd expect him to just cushion it home. He hits it wide. So many opportunities. We really were. It was just chance after chance after chance. But anyway, it gets to half-time and it's 1-1. And like I said, it could have easily been 4 or 5-1. But I should have mentioned there, right at the back end of that first half, Cannon did get himself a brilliant chance. I think it was pulled back for one of the Stoke City attackers. A sort of penalty spot. They've scuffed the effort, but then it just sort of spurned its way around the shot to Cannon on the edge of the 6-yard box, really, about 6-7 yards out. And then he's tried to put it past Patterson. Patterson, to be fair to him, as much as sometimes I do give him a bit of stick, he makes himself big, spreads his legs, and makes the save brilliantly. And then the rebound, they put it in the side netting. But we were very, very fortunate in that sense. But equally, we could have scored a handful, bags full of goals in that first half. Second half comes out, and it's somewhat more of the same. For the opening sort of 10-15 minutes or so, we were making opportunities. But then I could see after about the hour mark we're getting a bit leggy, which I understand. I mentioned earlier about the weather conditions. We could see we're getting a bit leggy. It was getting a bit stale after we dominated for so much. It got to sort of hour mark where they were just kind of playing it along the back, and our press was a little bit more inconsistent. Maybe one player would go for it and the others were just knackered. You can see they're almost blowing a gasket. And I'm thinking, get players on now. Get Mayenda on. Get Sirkin on and the like. Just get some energy on. We need the energy now. And Regis were just refusing. And then 10 minutes were just gone wasted, kind of, because he wasn't making any changes. Stoke started making changes and they were starting to not control the game, but they were just having a better possession for the first time, which I knew were going to happen at some point anyway. We can't expect it to dominate every game. But we could see that they looked knackered and were just screaming for changes. Stoke started making changes and they started to get a bit of energy and we looked shattered. But then after that sort of 10 minutes, we did sort of see it out, and then we continued ourselves, and we got... there was a chance with Watson. It was pulled back to him from 6 yards out, and I thought with his run of form, surely now he's going to put it in the back of the net. He's put it over the bar. Other chance with Wilson Isidore, close range. He's hit it wide. There's so many opportunities, and eventually he does bring on Mayenda. He does bring on Sirkin, and it's Mayenda who misses. Jesus Christ, honestly. So it was an offside goal for Isidore, but essentially we got down the left-hand side. Watson again, who's my man of the match, I'll just say now, because he was absolutely fucking outstanding. He was brilliant, that lad. He did not stop all day long, but he gets the bar and puts it across goal. It's a lovely chip across goal, and it is literally 4 yards out. Mayenda bolts across his man to get there first. All he does is nod it into an empty net, but instead he's kind of tried to glance it back across goal for no reason. You're 4 yards out, man. It's not hard. It is not hard at all. I don't give a shit. It is not hard. You're 4 yards out, knock it in, that's it. But he's kind of tried to knock it back across goal, just kind of do the keeper for no reason. And it's going wide. It's going wide. He stood pretty much on the goal post and he pokes it in. But it was going wide, the header. And he said, is offside as much as he argued the toss. He was offside. But Mayenda has to be putting that one in the back of the net. And again, it's just one of them. It's how many chances do we need to make? I can try and pinpoint, this player should have been in this position, or this player should have done this, or tactically we should have done this. But at the end of the day, we made, I think it was like 15 shots on target. Something's got to give. Our finishing just simply had to be better, and the game would have looked a lot more comfortable. But we did eventually make it 2-1. I think it was like 85th, 86th minute, whatever it was. Again, Paddy Roberts actually did well on the right-hand side, and he pulls it back to Watson. He hits it, he takes a deflection that sends the keeper and hits the back of the net, and we absolutely deserve it, 1,000%. And then pretty much from then on, we sort of sat back a little bit. We threw Leo Kjelder on the pitch, went to a back five and saw it out. I think their defender, what you call him, Ashley, whatever, I can't remember his name now. He had a header pretty much the 94th and a half minute, even though 4 minutes got added on, it nearly hit the 95th minute by the time that they allowed them to attack the ball. He had the header, Ashley Phillips, that's the one. He had a header, tried to put it back across goal, but Patterson makes a decent save, holds onto it, and of course smothers the ball. The whistle goes, and there we go, we're back to winning ways, and thank God. I'm so glad that now that Watson has looked so promising in recent weeks, that he's actually adding to his game now. He's adding goals to his game. Now that he's got himself off the mark, finally someone else is contributing goals. It's not just a case of, because Paddy Roberts, as much as I do like him, as I say, as a person, as a player, he's dangerous, but he has zero goal threat because he never fucking scores. He scored once in 12 months, 16 months, whatever it is. He's not going to score. So when Easter or when our strikers aren't providing, we need someone else. Job and Rig and Dan Neil, as much as Dan Neil is more of an anchor, they weren't really threatening. I thought Job was actually at times, although he was putting himself about everywhere, made a couple of decent challenges, he actually disappointed me a little bit today. Rig didn't look as threatening either. So we need someone to stand up to the plate. Like Job, like I said, there was times where you're just screaming for him, just give the ball, it's just blatant, obvious passes, and he just carries it and carries it and carries it. And I made a joke online earlier. For me, sometimes, I can make a joke about it now because we've won and I have a smile on my face, but there are times when Job's got the ball, and it does feel like when you're playing a game of FIFA and your controller dies, and he just keeps on running straight and walking and running and jogging straight with the ball, straight into danger, when there's a whole gaping side of the pitch here that has no opposition players on. Just bomb into it, drive, work this space. It's almost like he's looking for where the bodies are to run into for no reason, absolutely no reason. But we can make jokes about it now. But yeah, that was a bit frustrating. Isidore, for me, it's a shame because he had plenty of chances today. He could have got himself a hat-trick quite easily, but he was very, very wasteful. As much as I give grief to other players like not finding him, we did eventually find him. Opening 20 minutes or so, we didn't touch the ball once. That must have been frustrating for him. But then we did, so he has no excuse. We did find him plenty, and he was very, very wasteful. But we have other players who chipped in Watson. So I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing that we finally just put that to bed, and hopefully we can just carry that forward now, because we did make a handful. We made a hatful of chances, a sack full of chances, a truckload of chances, and we only come away with a 2-1 win. But regardless of how many you score, you always get the same points. So I think we're currently 2 points off the top now. We've got a 5-point gap between us and Middlesbrough. Of course, we're 4th and they're 5th. So we needed to win this, really, if we wanted to keep on pushing. And at least, so of course, it's still only sort of early December, but I think what we need to do now, at the very least, is sort of try and cement our place in at least the playoffs going forward. So this is a massive, massive win for the lads after a winless streak of 6 games. So massive, massive win. Buzzing with it. But anyway, that is it for me, guys. My man of the match, hands down, Tommy Watson. What a lad, and I'm so happy for him. I really, really am. Young lad. Some people were saying he looked a bit off it, and only a few weeks ago, Michael Bowers will tell you, another fantastic Sunderland YouTuber, I'm in a group chat with him, and I was only telling him a few weeks ago when people were screaming for Tommy Watson, and I was saying, from what I've seen, he looks like he's got potential, but he doesn't even look near championship quality, and I was saying he will need a loan. That's what I was thinking. But then I've never been more happy to be wrong. And again, I'm not saying he's the finished product and he's absolutely incredible, but what he's done is shown that he can compete and he can play at the championship level. So I'm always going to be happy to be proven wrong when it comes to Sunderland players, and particularly Sunderland homegrown talent. So there we go. Let me know what you think of the game. Are you happy? I hope you are. And if you are happy, hit that like button. Do it now. And subscribe if you haven't already. So many of you, there's so many that are watching week in, week out, and you're not subscribed. You cheeky little bastard. I'm only joking. I'm buzzing. I'm just happy, guys. I'm just happy. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Stay jammy. Away the lads.